Welcome back, viewers, and I would like to apologize for the delay in uploading the videos as I went on a sabbatical and a bit of introspection. I just wanted to reflect on my own thoughts that whether or not I have created any biases over the course of time because the kind of books I read, the kind of material I read, and the discussions I had, it takes a huge mental toll, not as much as physical, but mental toll. So I need some quiet time as to maintain the equilibrium of my thoughts so as not to present you with the information that is based on my personal choices or perception but based on facts. Now today's topic is not a very comfortable topic, to be honest. I am a strong believer of the adage that it is better to be alone than to be lonely. Now people often get confused with alone and lonely. These are they might sound similar, but they are not. Loneliness is a wound that festers in silence, but when you choose isolation on yourself, is the blade you sharpen yourself. People confuse the two, but they are nightmares born from separate shadows. Loneliness is desperation, right? You're crying out for someone to come and save you, so-called Messiah, right? The aching hunger to be seen, touched, remembered. This is what loneliness is. It's a prison built by others when they abandon you. Isolation, on the other hand, however, is a choice. You choose it yourself. It is not imposed on you. It is exile painted in blood, but your own blood. Remember that. When you isolate yourself, you rip yourself from the sickness of the herd. You're sick and tired of the rat race. You're sick and tired of being a part of a group and surrendering your own personal identity and building a mindset of a group mindset that all of you are supposed to agree with each other. Carving out a kingdom of rot where no voices are going to pollute your thoughts. You will be master of your thoughts. Your thoughts will not be controlled by anyone else when you choose to isolate yourself. Loneliness is a weakness. You are so soul starving like a stray dog. Have you ever seen stray dog like begging just for a bite of what you are eating? Begging for scraps of attention. Isolation is defiance because you have chosen it yourself. It spits on the false comfort of connection, ripping the mask off society's lie that you must belong if you want to survive. We have been taught that we are social animals. Loneliness shackles you, bends your spine beneath the weight of longing. In other words, it will make you spineless, which means that you cannot have your own thoughts, individual ideas. You have to conform to the group, to the herd. Isolation forges you. It turns silence into a weapon, detachment into power, and into terror that very few can handle. You need to understand this. The lonely die crying for warmth. The isolated grow cold, but in that frost, they become untouchable. One is a cage built with your own consent. The other is a throne you construct from the bones of your past self. The person that you have killed in order to become the person you are now. People fear loneliness because it crushes them. People cannot sit in silence with their own thoughts. They'll go crazy, majority of them. That's why they are looking for constant stimuli. But they fear isolation even more because it breeds monsters who have nothing left to lose. When a person who is comfortable in their own company, they have nothing left to lose. The biggest fear of any human being is to be left alone, right? FOMO, fear of missing out. That is why we would rather surrender our identity to become part of a herd, a group. has to say, so that we can say, yes, we have similar experiences. Why do we need to do that? Why not you can live or create something on your own? If you keep on looking for acknowledgement externally, you'll never get that. What you will get is opinions, criticism, negative criticism. There are, I welcome criticism, but it has to be constructive, not vague. Not because you don't like me, that is why you're not going to agree with me. That's childish. That is the worst kind of argument I can think of. Just because you don't like a person, so by default you're not going to agree with anything that they're saying, even if it is helpful for you in any way, shape, or form. So you need to choose your own path. As there was a poem in which it said, I chose the path which was less traveled. Indirectly, the author or the poet was trying to say that carve out your own path. If you're walking down a street and you already see a lot of footprints over there, it means that you're walking on someone else's path. You have not created your own path. Indirectly, you have not created your own identity. You're simply following the identity of someone who has done something similar, and now you're just going to replicate it. All the leaders, all the great minds in the human history, they were all loners. They built in isolation. They study in isolation. Do not fear isolation. Especially shed this idea of loneliness. What good is that company which is going to crush your individuality, which is going to crush your own identity, where you just need to become a yes man? You're simply saying yes, you're nodding your head like this all the time, like a showpiece, like a decorative piece that you place on your car dashboard, keeps on nodding its head like this all the time, all the time. You're nothing. There is no difference between you and that inanimated object, because both of you do not have your own minds, do not have your own thoughts. You're simply going with the flow. Only dead fish go with the flow. The live ones, they never. They always go in the direction they want to go, for whatever need they need to fulfill. Whether it's fight, food, or procreation of their species. I hope you found this discussion or whatever set of ideas I presented in front of you somewhat informative and comforting, for especially for those people who are not able to figure out the difference between being isolated and being loneliness. Loneliness is when you are rejected and you accept that rejection, and eventually you will develop a lot of disorders. Isolation, monks, why do you think they meditate in isolation? People travel far and wide so that they can find secluded areas where they can sit with their thoughts for days, months, and even years at a stretch. Only then it is that they are able to discover themselves. When you are constantly surrounded by the noise of people, heard everywhere, you cannot generate your own identity. You'll basically you surrender your thought process, and now you're just looking for external validation. Someone to say yes, okay, fine, go ahead, you can do that, and you march like a mindless soldier to fight a war that you have nothing to do with. for a king that you are never going to meet. So choice is always yours. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay blessed.